a new membership for struggling entrepreneurs. Hi, everyone. This is Patrick, and welcome to Client Success Secrets. Today's episode 14. I am a client success coach for marketing experts and the founder of the Brave Advantage. And today we're going to cover a very fascinating topic. I just had this idea that I'm ready to implement, and it's going to be fantastic. And that is a new membership for struggling entrepreneurs. So, a lot of you who follow me, who've seen me on video, or who have read my posts on Facebook, you may be wondering if Patrick works only with marketing experts so that I can help them help their clients, or if I actually work with those struggling entrepreneurs who take online courses but don't finish them. And the short answer is I only work with marketing experts. But that was the answer until now. Today I had a realization that it's an idea that I've been flirting with for several months. I have to be honest. And that is, what if I took matters to my own hands and instead of looking and supporting those marketing experts and coaches who are helping their clients, who really care about helping all their clients succeed, do better, right? That was the original goal. But then this other idea was always in the background. And I think it's starting to make more and more sense as time goes by. Before I get to that, I just want to share that I have gone through a review exercise that I do every single month. I call these client breakthrough sessions. And what that looks like is a review assignment where you go through your accomplishments. So you do this once a month and you go through your accomplishments, you go through your lessons, everything that you've learned. That's important, obviously. And then you start to analyze other aspects of your whole experience in your business, including what stopped you, what limiting beliefs you have, what excuses you're making, etc., etc. So it's a fascinating plan which concludes with an action plan where you put together a 30 days goal and you start all over again. So you set your a 30 days goal for yourself. You start taking action using the insights coming from the client breakthrough session, and that's going to help you, get further and do better than the last time, which is a fantastic process that I developed through years and years of experience in coaching, life coaching. I'm a coach, accountability, uh, business coaching, learning from coaches, coaching clients, etc., etc. And this, by the way, is going to be key for what I'm about to explain you later. So the idea basically is to create a membership for struggling entrepreneurs. The goal, unlike any other thing you've seen before, is to help you finish your course. So just like there are tutors for schooling, for university, there should be comeback coaches for online education, which means that I am the person who fills the gap between what they teach you, what the experts teach you, and what you actually accomplish, which, looking at the state of things today, is not much. 95% of online course students don't finish their courses, and only 10% of new businesses survive after 5 years. So the statistics are horrible, and very few people are doing something about this. And I am one of them. And what I'm going to do is simply fill the gap. Make sense? And now we're going to fill that gap through the creation of a membership, which I haven't created yet, but it's coming. And the coolest part is that I'm going to be able to do a couple of things. First is that we're going to make your money worth it. So today, I'm talking to the struggling entrepreneurs, not the usual program for client success secrets. So we're gonna make your money worth it. If you invested in an online course or a coaching program or many of them, which is very likely, there was something that stopped you. You got to a point where you couldn't take action anymore. It could have been fear. It could have been discipline. It could have been motivation. There are lots of reasons which I have carefully studied for you that could have stopped you from moving forward, which means that you didn't finish the assignments, you didn't get through all the lessons, and you didn't accomplish what you were promised. And this is the bigger picture here. You are supposed to be a person who has that ambition, has that desire to achieve the dream lifestyle, right? You want to stop working a 9 to 5, or maybe you did stop working a 9 to 5, but you want to have a real stable and booming business. And things are hard because business is hard. And that's what we're going to do. And the coolest part is that I'm going to use everything that I've learned. And I kid you not, I mean that in the widest way you can imagine. So let's talk about my experience a little bit. It would probably help you to see who Patrick is, what I'm about, what kind of approach I have specifically. It's not just all about being super awesome and be the best expert for you, right? This is about what you see me being about as well. But this is not all about me either, because this is going to be a community. But let's take things step by step. The first step is Patrick. All right, yeah, let's talk about me. So, first of all, is that my journey as a professional, I guess, online professional, is studying life coaching. So that started in 2016 when I had the insight that I wanted to be a coach, a life coach specifically. And almost a year later, I went through coaching school. I got my certification at Coach U, and I was there. I said, okay, finally made it. I'm trained. I'm a real coach. And then I got on this whole other world, which is the startup world. So I needed to start a business from scratch. I knew nothing about business. I hated business people. I hated sales, and it was extremely, extremely hard to get anything off the ground. To be honest, I did, but not to the level that I wanted. And at the same time, it was super hard. And I want you to remember this for one reason. One one reason I was gonna number things. For one reason, your starting point is really important to how far you're gonna get and how quick. All right. So in my case, having no background in business and even having a certain mindset and identity that goes against business, things are a lot harder for somebody like that. I wish I had known that at the time. So what happened after is that I started taking courses. So I got in this journey of taking lots of courses to learn about sales and marketing, to learn about business, operation, fulfillment, uh, lead generation, social media, virality online, like anything, all the things you can imagine, like I've done. As a matter of fact, I like to share in many of my presentations that I've taken 12 online courses in coaching programs, and that I've created and sold 7 online courses and coaching programs. So back to the story, right? I took my first course, and then I found that I learned a lot. I changed a lot. I acquired gained more confidence. I really felt like a different person, and that's the second part of the journey. As you know, everyone's journey through a big undertaking like starting and growing an online businesses has a second journey, which is the one where you grow yourself as a person, right? But this doesn't happen as they show it in the movies, though. There's lots of up and downs, not just a couple, not just an initial challenge and then a bottom, a rock bottom, and then the peak. No, there is way more than that. Um, anyway, so I'm going to share with you some of the courses that I took. It doesn't matter the specifics. What matters is the analysis that I ended up doing about all these courses. So, let's fast forward to 2023. Close to near the end of 2023, I had this realization: the vision of helping entrepreneurs finish their courses. Right? I loved online courses and coaching programs so much. I was so good at taking them, and I was so good at seeing what was working and what wasn't working, that I said, okay, this is the mission now. And without mentioning that it is so meaningful to me to help so many other people, to help them not go through the pain that I went through. Because here's the thing: to me, there are 2 types of pain: evitable pain and inevitable pain. We can't really control everything, of course, but there is a lot of pain who's super evitable. And the way to avoid the inevitable pain is through changing your mindset, your beliefs, and your identity. And that's something that doesn't happen quite well inside these courses and coaching programs. Moving forward, I'm just going to say courses as a generic term to include both ideas. Okay, so moving forward, online course or course means coaching program and online course. Hope I'm not confusing you with that, but moving forward, I'll just use that one term. Okay, so let me tell you about some of the things that I learned in the last 6 years. So I actually have an old document from last year, which really helped me nail down what the problem was, why it's happening, and what's on some of the solutions. And obviously, as I said, because that's the name of the episode, the ultimate solution is going to be this membership for online entrepreneurs. So I went through all these courses. I remember telling this story a couple of times where I split, I made two columns for every single course that I took with two columns: what works, what doesn't work. So once I did that, I started writing down ideas, loads of ideas about my experience. And then I started to see patterns. As I went through more and more courses, I started to see some common themes across all the courses, incredibly. And I started to realize that I made the same mistake many, many times. And so did the courses. The courses make the same mistake every single time. And it's not only one, so bear with me with the details. But I also realized that there were many things that did work, that allowed me to move forward, that allowed me to learn and retain the knowledge, and allowed me to get some results, because that's the ultimate goal: get the results that you're looking for. So, with that said, let me go through some of the conclusions. I mean, this is golden value that even if the membership doesn't exist yet, even if I launch it and you don't join yet, just by listening to this, it could really shift the way you approach the entrepreneurial journey, the way you approach the courses that you bought, and get better results. So listen up. I divided these into three categories, but first let me start with the headline. The headline is top reasons people fail at courses. So the three categories are course reasons, internal reasons, that's the person, and external reasons, that's circumstances surrounding that person. Make sense? As a matter of fact, I did take these three categories framework from Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets book, where he talks about the three types of beliefs that people have towards a unique opportunity, right? So in this case, I'm talking about three groups of reasons why people fail. Are you following? All right. So let's talk about the course. So this is the problems with the course itself, not the person, not other circumstances. One, course doesn't follow up with the client during or after timeline expires. So this is to say that most courses are 12 weeks programs, 16 weeks programs. Sometimes they go all the way to 6 months and even 12 months. And by the way, usually the longer they are, the better. It sounds like a silly thing to say that just because it's more days, it's better value, but you will better understand what I mean by that later. So the course has a certain timeline. It expires at, let's say, 16 weeks. And after those 16 weeks are finished, no one checks on you. And honestly, I thought it was just an expectation for me. I said, well, sure, I was supposed to do the work. I was supposed to get wild results, and I just didn't. And they don't get in touch with you. That's it. You bought the thing. Bye, bye. And we're going to start to question these ideas, of course. And that is a big problem, actually, because as we established, 95% of people don't finish those courses. Some coaching programs have a 90% fail rate, which is a little better. And some others have an 80% fail rate, which is a lot better. But nobody's really close to an almost nobody is close to like an actual like business solution success rate where we can say, okay, we are a business who's solving this problem because 80% of our clients do it, or 60 at least. Nobody's there. Like virtually nobody's there. And even though the experts know those numbers, they just don't get in touch with you anymore. Okay, forget it. If they do, sometimes they will do it just because you ended up in that email sequence, and they will send you emails from time to time saying, "Hey, new podcast episode. Hey, new software. Hey, new course," and they will just sell you something else, but they're not really treating you like a client anymore. It's more like, okay, you're on our list. We're gonna nurture you. We're gonna make sure we don't forget about us, and there's no plan regarding your success as a client. So reason number two is no plan B when you get stuck. This is huge. And I made a post a couple of weeks ago where I talk about the plan B approach to courses. And I found out through taking so many courses that none of them, I mean, this literal, no course I've taken, I'm talking about 12, I'm talking about a little over 12, have a plan B when you get stuck. So if you're taking it, imagine you're a student, you're taking an online course, and then you go like, oh, you know what, this is so difficult, this is so big, like I don't think I can do it. And then you just get stuck, and then you procrastinate, and you end up just not doing any work anymore, and you quit. That happens a lot. There is no reason to blame you. And where's the plan B? The coach and the expert assumes that you have everything that you need, and all it takes is you bothering to taking action. But it's a little more complex than that. So, no plan B. Next, no hand holding for the hard stuff. I really like this point, and I took it from my friend Jonathan Jenna, who's a brilliant coach, and he's so right about this. So when you are the hard, let's define the hard stuff first. If you are an entrepreneur, obviously that's always the topic, and you get to a point where you need to do something more difficult or more vulnerable than usual, you don't have any help. Let's say that you have to send a message to someone of making an offer. Nobody's there to tell you anything. Nobody's there to hold your hand. Nobody's there to support you and say, hey, you got this. Like, do it now and be live with you while you do it. Nobody's there. The courses are not structured in a way where there is hand holding. And what's crazier is that even when you are in a group coaching program, there's no hand holding either. You're gonna probably, if it's a good course, you will do the assignment live. They're gonna go like, okay, spend 10 minutes writing down your need, writing down your offer, whatever the case might be. But then when it's the time of truth, when you're about to launch your offer, launch your funnel, go live on Facebook, or do your live challenge or your live masterclass, no one is there. You're supposed to do that completely by yourself. And that is nuts. And that's what keeps people stuck, because they're gonna have their little videos and their group coordinator or coach for the easy stuff only. And then when it comes to picking up the phone and getting in touch with the prospect, you have no one. So that's another problem. The next one is the audience is not a right fit for the program. By the audience, I mean the clients. And I did have a conversation a couple of weeks ago with a fantastic consultant. His name is Kay. And he showed me in depth what it means to have people in your programs who are the right fit. So what happens in mainstream marketing is that they make their messaging, they structure and design their marketing in such a way that all it does, which is not to underestimate, is to attract as many people as possible, to make an offer that suits as many people as possible. But the offer suits so many people in one simple sense: they're buying. That's it. And unfortunately, these marketers are not thinking about whether the offer fits the person in the sense of their success. Because a person who's the right fit because they have a certain desire, because they have a certain problem that they're solving, because they have the money to pay for the course, is not the same as the person who actually can utilize that course and achieve what they are promised, achieve the desired goal. That's There's a big gap there that a lot of marketers ignore, and that's another leading reason for so many people failing. So the flip side of things is that you will qualify your people through smart marketing design, and you're gonna go like, look, if you're that person who expects to get rich overnight or expects to build a successful business without any work, I don't want you here. That is the kind of ethical marketing that is going to attract more of the right people. There will be, and their chances of being successful are a lot higher. When you just decide, okay, I'm the if the marketer says, okay, I'm the mass marketer, I want to make as many sales as possible, I want to reach 7, 8, and 9 figures as quickly as possible, we're going to get a lot of people under the wing who are not the right fit, who have wild expectations without doing much, and that's just gonna have the failure rate that we see most courses have. This is not something that you, the entrepreneur, is doing. This is more something like the expert is doing. But at the same time, I want you to be aware of this, because there is a good chance that you bought into a program or a course that you were not the best fit for. And sometimes there are other variables, like for instance, values. Maybe a marketer is just gonna go like, okay, you gotta do this because it made me money and it could make you money too. You as a client, even if you're not a big expert, you could totally question that and say, you know what, this is not the kind of coach for me. I'm not doing this. And that doesn't mean you're choosing failure. It only means that it's not your style. Doesn't suit your values, doesn't go with your identity, right? Sometimes your identity needs a change, but that's another story. But yeah, audience is not the right fit. So another reason for failure. And the last one I think is extremely important, which is the foundation is not questioned. So this is somewhat related to the last point about audience fit, and this is that nobody assesses the foundation of the client joining the program. So what this means is that, let me tell you, you recognize the hype marketing that's dominating the internet today. If somebody tells you, I did it so that you don't have to, that's like sort of the messaging, right? If you hear things like, I did it so you don't have to, or if you're not confident, you don't need confidence because you have my strategy. Anyone can do it because my client X did it, or because I did it and I was poor and broke and illiterate. Everyone can do it. You hear that kind of messaging? I want you to be careful, because that's the marketer trying to get as many people as possible. Sometimes they do it to inspire you. Actually, their noble goal is to inspire you, but they end up not looking at anything that you're bringing to the table and treating you just like another number. But let's talk about this foundation a little bit more. In my framework, which I call the four walls theory, there are two fundamental aspects to the success of the person in business, and that is the personal foundation and the business foundation. If you are a person, for example, like Patrick, with a belief system or an identity that goes against business, for example, I don't want to come across salesy, I want to treat people humanly. Actually, that's not quite it, but some people think it's opposites. Some people think, that's how I used to think, that sales and being human are opposites. They're not necessarily, but if you have that belief system, that's going to hold you back. That's your foundation. Other things like not having business experience, which I didn't, and that was holding me back a lot. The solution obviously was to get the experience, but that doesn't mean that I can just grab someone's strategy and make it work right away. Other elements in the foundation, money. If you have money to invest, not just in the course, but in the actual business, that makes a foundation a little stronger. If you have a social media following, on some kind of key contacts, like a good mentor, like somebody who has a huge following and you're friends with, or like you could work together, whatever the case might be, your network makes your foundation stronger. And then you have the personal foundation, which is more about your own life. And I like to summarize it this way: it means that there is more or less balance across all the areas of your life: money, relationships, health, uh, work, play, spirituality, like all the 6, 7, 8 areas that we have in anyone's life are more or less in balance, or at least improving, progressively on a regular basis. If you basically, what I'm trying to say in simple terms is that if you focus all your energy on business and you let other areas of your life, like your relationships or health, fall apart, making progress is going to be a lot harder. That's what it means. And then when you put all this foundation, there's more to it, but just to give you an overview, if you have your foundation strong, you're going to basically, I like to put it in this terms actually, you can achieve more with less action. That's what a strong foundation does for you. And when the foundation is not questioned, which is what happens in most courses, it's almost like your coach doesn't know what they're working with. It's like having all the resources available, but the room is dark and you have no idea what's there. That's how your coach is operating in most cases. They don't know what your mindset is like. They don't know what your personal life is like. They don't question anything. And if they don't question anything, they're not going to improve anything. And that's what's going to make you fail ultimately. Follow me? All right. I love this. I'm so happy I'm sharing this with you. And we're only getting started. That is the course reasons. Now we're going to talk about the internal reasons. That's what's going on in the client, within the client. Ready? So these are 7 reasons I identified. There could be a few more, but I think that this list is complete enough for you to start moving forward the right way with a more positive attitude, and especially not beating yourself up, because that's one of the strongest beliefs I hold. Nobody should beat themselves up. So let's talk about internal reasons. I like to also add something in brackets, which I have literal brackets on my on my file, and that is why we're not taking action due to internal reasons. 1, missing something important that makes taking action impossible. I have been a victim of this. I know victim is a strong word, but I really need to put this out there. When you learn strategies from coaches and experts, there's going to be a point where you just don't have something that they say you need. And this is very common for new entrepreneurs to fail at the authority part of things. When you're learning about persuasion, you learn how authority is important for you. And then you start thinking, and you go like, you start going through, you go through the course, and then you said, oh yeah, so I know one way to position myself as an expert, as an authority, is to say how many years of experience I have. I don't have anything. Maybe I have 1 year. And then you bring your value down. And then you go like, oh, talk about social proof, all the people you helped. I didn't help anybody really, so what am I going to say? And then, there are all sorts of like impediments to, taking the action. You know what to do, you're willing to do it, but then you find these obstacles and nobody has answers for that, or at least satisfactory answers for that. And you're like, okay, I want to help people with their relationships, but I'm divorced, so forget about it. I'm terrible at this. You may not be terrible at it, but you're just depositioning yourself because no one is giving you the right tools. And then it could be the actual tools that will help you build the authority. Authority is just an example. Or it could be a mindset shift that says, wait, I'm actually an authority because I know this, because I'm ahead of my people, because etc. And there's always that missing piece, and you're like, not gonna move forward with this. Why? Or even if you do move forward, you have zero belief in that working because you have the missing piece that's not letting you do apply the strategy. And trust me, coaches and experts overlook this big time. The next internal reason, I must say that this doesn't look like a personal talk, but it is a very personal talk because everything that you see, everything that I'm talking about, I've gone through at some point. So overcomplicate things. This is probably one of my it was one of my biggest strengths. Now I'm getting a lot better at it. This is self-explanatory. Overcomplicating things is that you could get a sale by talking to a bunch of people, or you could sit down for hours figuring out what to say it, how to present it, where to present it, promote it for weeks or not promote it at all, write 25 emails, uh, build a funnel, build automations, get domains, like make forms, segment your audience, like A/B test. Like you could go crazy if you want, and that will stop you from ever launching something. So don't overcomplicate it. It's easier said than done. Wanting to get results fast. This is important, a very internal, distinctly internal problem. And if you and this is the coaches and the experts to blame because they say you can do it in 12 weeks or 16 weeks, but you can't. Most people can't. Remember, 90 to 95% failure rate. So they are setting you up for failure by telling you that you could get results that fast. What I'm going to tell you is this could take you 1 year, and that's fine. People forget to realize that we live in the age of the internet, and businesses in the past required no less than a six-figure investment in 1 to 3 years to break even. But now, for some reason, we are newbies. It's not your fault. Like it's a cultural shift, which marketers contribute a lot to. Is this mindset shift where you say, "Oh, you know what? I can be a newbie, buy the course. 12 weeks later, I will have everything that I want." Not possible for most people. Get distracted with many courses and software tools. Guilty of that, and this is tough because when your course gets hard and you get stuck and you can't move forward for whatever reason, we have a lot of reasons to talk about here. You're just gonna buy something else to fix the problem. So there is an internal problem, which is shifting the strategy, getting distracted, not being able to move forward. But instead of keeping the strategy that you're using in that course and giving it another shot or giving it more time, you just buy another course. And that will get you in a painful cycle of not only spending thousands of dollars, but also not making anything work. Why? Because when you're changing the strategy constantly, you will never get good at any of them, no matter how good they are. Next, get distracted multitasking or engaging in too many projects at once. I remember a couple of years ago that I remember getting very overwhelmed by my business, saying, "Okay, I have this membership, I have this funnel, I have this low ticket offer, I have this lead magnet, I have this Facebook group." I was working on so many things at the same time. And one day I just decided to write everything down. I needed clarity. I was burning out and I needed clarity. So I started writing down things, say, okay, how many projects am I working on? And I started writing and writing and writing and writing. And I realized that I was working on 9 things at the same time. That comes from where? Bad teaching? Yes, that too. But it really comes from a term that I like that Brené Brown uses, which I really like, which is hustling for worthiness. So you feel like you're not worthy, and a lot of hard work is going to make you worth it. And being worthy equals to being successful, to getting sales, to changing lives. But this is only most likely, in most cases, just going to burn you out. So you could be successful and hate where you're at, or you're going to be so overwhelmed and being slowed down so that you won't get anywhere. That's more or less the possible outcomes. Next, comparing yourself with others. And I know this is cliche, but this can get really wild and can be very, very sneaky. And this is again a bad habit created by mainstream marketing. You're comparing yourself with others because you're seeing people on social media have extraordinary lives. The cars, the pools, even the sexy girlfriend for some reason that's also there. And then you start to think that you have to be super rich. First, that you can be super rich, easy. Second, that you have to be super rich. So they're imposing you an idea of success that's not your own. And next, they're telling you that, okay, you're nobody until you don't reach this. And whether you realize or not, you are comparing yourself with others. And when your measure of success is someone else's measure of success, you're always going to feel bad about yourself. And that sounds like an emotional thing, but it's way more than that. If you are constantly feeling bad about yourself, you're going to perform worse in your business and the course that you're taking. And the last one in internal is the fear of messing up. So you want to do things perfectly, you want to follow the strategy perfectly, you want to take care of every single detail, you want to prevent every possible bad outcome that's out there, and then you don't take action. Or when you do take action, something will go wrong that's going to completely defeat you, morally speaking. So don't be afraid of messing up. Let's talk about external reasons. So I identified a few. Honestly, I'm certain that there could be a lot more, but having this frame of mind is going to help you identify them and so that you don't let them get to you. One, my family interferes or doesn't support my involvement in the course. This is probably a hard conversation that you need to have with your family, which could mean that you're actually going to persuade them to support you because it's your dream. Or maybe you're going to cut ties with a few people who don't support you or who, worse, sabotage you. I mean, I'm not advising you stuff right now, but it could get to that point. Next, very few people know that my business exists. That is super common problem. And you can get over this, but don't let that stop you. Don't let that become an obstacle. I mean, don't let that become an excuse. It's not your excuse for saying, okay, I can't. It should be your obstacle to saying, so what do I do about it? It is true. A lot of people don't know. Most people don't know my business exists. It is true. What do we do? The external reasons are usually way more concrete. It's not something that you can overcome with a mindset shift. They are little projects that you need to do something about. Foundational client's idea to start building was weak. And this one is big because what I mean by its foundational client's idea is that you are the entrepreneur, you have a business idea that you're passionate about, but it turns out it doesn't fit the market at all. Your people don't need it or don't want it or prefer something different, and you're just pushing an idea into a market that doesn't fit. I've done that as well. And what this looks like is that you work really hard, you attract very few people, you sell to even less people, and everyone is second guessing themselves all the time. The both the entrepreneur and the person you're selling to second guessing and second guessing and second guessing, and then because nobody has a firm belief that the service works, it's not going to work. Just like that. Maybe you create an idea that is great, people want it, people need it, people appreciate the format that you're going to build it in, but they don't have the money. And there are strategies, tactics, to be more specific, sales and marketing tactics that help you break through the people who can't afford it, and they will find a way to afford it. They will become resourceful. They will ask, borrow money, sell a car, get a mortgage. I mean, trade their house for a mortgage, get a loan. They're gonna just make it happen. I don't like that model because it leaves people broke, but I know you can get good results from doing that. However, if the basis of your business idea is that people have to break the bank to hire you, that's a very bad premise for a business. If that's the expectation, you have a bad business idea. If that is something that people like, maybe 20% of people do, you can still make things work. Make sense? Next, people won't trust my work or me without impressive results to show. So this one sounds familiar. It's sort of related to this whole authority thing that I was talking about, but this is something, a real obstacle, a very tangible obstacle. And all you gotta do again is to turn this obstacle into a project or a thing that you know you need to overcome and say, I don't, first of all, your results don't need to be super impressive. They need to be impressive enough for the specific audience you're targeting. And second, if you don't have results, you need a strategy to make results. And somebody will trust you. There will be people who trust you without results. And those few people who do, because here's the thing, that's why it's called mass marketing. If you have impressive results, you have a better chance of looking believable for thousands of people. But if you don't, but you really know what you're doing, you're going to look, you can have no results and look impressive in front of a very, very small audience. And that's okay, because that's the audience who is going to invest, who you can test things with, and they are going to become your early results for later success. So again, not having impressive results, it should not become an excuse for you not to bother trying your business. All right. Okay, this one is huge. I mean, I'm giving you bombs of golden knowledge. And the last one is, what I want to do cannot work where I live. And this could mean that there are certain like bigger factors that make your business idea a lot more difficult. Again, this is not all black and white, but in my understanding, there are factors like culture, economy, politics, and climate that make your business idea impossible or less likely to work. So remember, this is something that for you to keep in mind. It shouldn't be your reason to give up. It should be things to say, hey, this is actually getting in the way. I need to do something about it. That's how you see these external reasons. Those are all the reasons. Now I want to just wrap this up. Honestly, this was a very nice presentation about reasons people fail, but I was going to probably talk more about the client success memberships that I'm building. So I got all the courses, as you saw. I did the analysis of what works and what doesn't. And now what I'm going to do next is to inspire my new membership using everything that I learned. So all those reasons that I listed for why people fail are going to be an integral part of the membership. So here are some ideas that I have for my membership, and I want you, please, to leave me comments under this live, under this podcast, telling me what you think is a great idea for this membership that other programs need, right? So, because remember, at the end of the day, I'm filling the gap. What your coach and expert isn't giving you, Patrick is giving you. All right. So let me discuss, just briefly mention some ideas that I have for this membership. One is that it's going to be a community. It's going to be a highly supportive community. It's not going to be one of those places where nobody engages. It's not going to be one of those places where there's constant selling. It's going to be a clients only community where we're going to engage. And as a matter of fact, just today, already today, I came up with the idea of dividing things into categories so that we can focus on what we need to focus on. Instead of having one single chat or board for posts where anybody can post anything, anytime, there's going to be subsections where people can talk about just about mindset, or just about their offer, or just about their webinar. There are going to be multiple categories like that is going to help us organize the thoughts and the discussions, and that's going to help everyone better support each other. It's going to bring more engagement to the community because they're not just going to talk about random stuff. There will be more common themes because the common themes are right there, preset in the community itself, and people will be able to better support each other and encourage each other in their progress. Another feature that I'm thinking about is Q&As. Q&As are great, and I remember being in a program where Q&As worked really well. And the big reason is that you're not doing a typical like YouTube Q&A where you simply take the questions from your audience that are usually very generic. They tell you, oh, for instance, when I was in the YouTube world, people would say, well, how do you get more views? How do you get more retention? How do you get more attention from your to your videos? How do you run paid ads? Or those super generic. We're not looking for Google questions. We're looking for something that is super specific to your situation. Give us lots of details, and I'm going to, in a live video or maybe inside the community itself in a post, I am going to answer to every single question. It's going to be super helpful. Then another component of this membership is going to be what Russell Brunson calls the success path, and that's where I'm going to teach some of my frameworks. And my frameworks are not marketing frameworks. I'm not going to teach you how to sell. I'm not going to teach you how to market. I'm not going to teach you how to make an offer. Although I'm good at many of those things, I'm going to show you. I'm going to teach you how to navigate the entrepreneurial journey in a way that you don't beat yourself up, you don't compare yourself with others. Uh, you might get disappointed, but you will get up. We're going to develop your resilience, and we're going to give you that sense that you're moving in the right direction, even if things are not going the exact way that you want. So there are going to be trainings centered around these ideas that will help you navigate the entrepreneurial journey. And over at the end of the day, we're not only going to make it easier for you. It's not about being easy, but it's about making it smoother. So, like I said before, evitable pain and inevitable pain. We're gonna take care of the evitable pain as much as possible, and the inevitable pain is gonna be there. But you're gonna have a community that's going to help you go through the things, go through those emotions, and let them go, and then get up and try again. So yeah, there's gonna be loads of amazing features. And one thing that I want to mention right here before I build this crazy idea and before I launch it, obviously, and that is that I want to make it affordable. You and I are sick of paying top dollar for courses that don't work. This membership for struggling entrepreneurs, like a lot of you listening, is going to be affordable. So it's going to be a membership. It's going to be a month to month. It's not going to be free, but you're going to get insane value for an affordable price. As a matter of fact, if you spent $10,000 in the past, I want to make sure you don't spend even 10% of that, not even 5% of that. I really want to make this a no-brainer because I am not looking to rip you off. I'm not looking to make as much money as possible. What I am looking for, to be honest, is to build this community big, not only big, huge. And yes, I'm going to end up profiting from this. And yes, I'm going to be able to make a very good income out of this. Why? Because I'm looking to support thousands of people. If it's just 100, I'll be fine financially. If it's 1,000, even better. And then we're gonna, really nudge things up. I'm going to reinvest a lot of the money back into the community, and I'm going to do the right thing and grow a team and make more Patricks to support more people, and it's just gonna be freaking epic. So that was Client Success Secrets for today. Remember, we're going live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and please keep this audio file or video file somewhere near you, because what you learned about failure and success is gold.